Good evening and welcome to the Spotlight. My name is Levi Kones. We're discussing today matters politics. I'm trying to talk about how do we move the country forward in terms of issues to do with the burdens that we are facing as a citizenry. The Third Way Alliance Group has come up with an initiative called Punguza Mizigo, which is really aimed at making sure that the common mwananchi has, better services and not heavy laden on them in terms of their financial aspects and other things. With us to talk about this and much more is the Secretary General of that party, Frederick Okango. Karibu sana.
Asante.
Glad to have you here.
Thank you.
Long time since we talked about the Third Way Alliance.
It has been a while, Levi.
Yes, the last time we were here, we were discussing, this initiative was just being fronted.
It was just starting, actually.
Yes.
Sometime back in May.
May, April.
Yes, yes.
So May, April until now, just recap for us what has been happening behind the scenes.
Thank you, Levi. Maybe first of all, to the benefit of your viewers, I would like to tell them what is Punguza Mizigo.
Yes.
And why Punguza Mizigo. Punguza Mizigo is a popular initiative under the Constitution of Kenya 2010, Article 257. It's a popular initiative that is aimed at amending the Constitution of Kenya 2010 so that we can have certain things or certain changes effected, and when time allows, we'll explain them. We have given reasons, 16 reasons why we would want the Constitution of Kenya 2010 amended. We launched this project, or this initiative rather, in 2018, April. We started by a digital signature collection process where we launched it on an online platform. And sometime in July, we started now the physical signature collections, what is called county visits, and we have been doing that. So far, we have been to 13 counties, and we have collected, if you combine all the signatures we have collected over 620,000 signatures. We have been to Samburu, Isiolo, we have been to Muranga, we have been to Kiambu, we have been to Homa Bay, Kisumu, Migori, we have been to Nakuru, we have been to Baringo, we have been to Machakos, and all these places we have visited, Kenyans are telling us, this is the way to go because Punda amechoka. Yes, Levi.
Well, it's good because a lot of people have talked about that, the burden, the wage bill, the issues around taxation of the common mwananchi, the cost of living, just the average cost of running our country as well.
Correct.
And
yes, and Levi, I agree. Let me tell you, today, the people of Kenya are finding it very difficult to meet even basic needs. Very difficult. The president himself acknowledged in his State of the Nation address that the cost of implementing this constitution is expensive. In his recent interview with the CNN journalist, he acknowledged again and he said, look, the only constitutional amendment that probably people should be talking about is an amendment that will lower the cost of living and the cost of running government. That means even the government today acknowledges that there must be something that should be done to ensure that we lower the cost of living. And that's why Third Way Alliance Kenya has given 16 cogent reasons why Punguza Mizigo. And if I just take you very quickly, Levi. Number one, we have said we must reduce the cost of running parliament. If you look at the financial allocation 2018-2019, the cost of running parliament is 36.8 billion. And this, we are proposing to lower it to below 5 billion. From 36.8 billion to below 5 billion. Why? Because we are saying it is not prudent use of finances to run a parliament of a tiny minority, 416 members, at the cost of over 38 billion. That is not prudent. We are saying also we must now lower over-representation. That is a burden that Kenyans are carrying. Look at our country. We are a population of 46 million. But look at the representation. 416 members of parliament in a bicameral system, Senate and the National Assembly. When we compare with other countries, because we have to benchmark with other countries that have done this before with the bicameral system. India, 1.3 billion, and the representation is 800. China, 1.4 billion, representation is 1,200. United States of America, 350 million, representation is 536. That means we are 400% overrepresented. We have said we would want to lower it from 416 members to a maximum 147 members. And that takes me to the third reason of using the 47 counties as a single unit constituency for the purposes of parliamentary and Senate election. It means we are proposing to abolish all the 290 constituencies, abolish. And let's now have the 47 constituencies. And in that, we shall have each constituency electing one man and one woman into the National Assembly. And then at the Senate, only one representative. At the National Assembly, we shall only have 6 nominations alone. That takes the total number of parliamentarians at the National Assembly at 100 maximum.
Yeah.
And then at the Senate, 47. That brings together a total of 147 from 416. When we do that levy, we shall have saved a taxpayer over 31 billion shillings that we can now use to go into the development in the smallest units of wards. That's what we are saying.
Yeah, some people will say, though, for argument's sake, that that kind of representation, the 416,
yes,
covers almost all areas of this country. Some guys will say, okay, we will be underrepresented. The big tribes will take over. Like if we say, if we lump 2 or 3 constituencies together, then we are assuring the common wananchi who comes from a smaller tribe that they may never get elected because of the composition of tribe, especially in our elective politics that is highly tribalized. What would you say about that?
You know, Levi, the territories of Kenya are divided into counties. That is what the Constitution currently says, Article 6. And we have got tribes in this country that will never have a member of parliament because they are very, very small tribes, like Ilchamos, Makonde. They're very small. And that's why in our proposal, we have proposed that out of the 6 nominations, 1 or 2 slots will go to the marginalized, the very, very small tribes. Yeah. Now, you cannot say that, you know, other people, by abolishing the constituencies, you will now exclude other people. The county has brought them together. We are not reducing the counties. We are reducing what is within the county, and that is the constituency. And by the way, there is going to be delimitation of counties. Under Article 89, it is coming after every 8 years. That's what the Constitution says. So either way, some of these constituencies will go. Sorry, not counties, but the constituency. Some of these constituencies will go. Now, let me take you to one of the most important reasons why Punguza Mizigo, so that I tie it to what you're asking. We have proposed that let us now use the ward as a primary unit of accelerated development. Why? Because it is in the wards that majority of Kenyans are. We would want to see certain parameters of development in the ward, schools, hospitals, water, electricity, infrastructure. That way, we shall have true and meaningful inclusivity, because that is where the Kenyans are. And if you do that, then let me give you an example, Levi. The government collects approximately 1.8 trillion annual collection. Now, if you only give each ward the 1,450 wards, each of them only 200 million per year, then you can see real development in the wards. So that in every ward, we have got certain basic requirements that every Kenyan must have. Because the essence of devolution is to bring those services closer to the people.
And I hear you. And it's good you say that, because that much money will be going to the very basics, so there'll be a lot more money to use for development. But there's a big question that comes there.
Yes.
And that's the question of corruption, which is bedeviling us like crazy. You know, like give the money to the MCAs, we are only devolving corruption and making them, you know, look like they're going to take more money out of the public coffers and things like that. What are we going to do to deal with that?
Levy, we have seen the level of theft in this country. Every year, we steal, as a people or elected representatives or people of Kenya, 700 billion. And we go and borrow another 700 billion. It is very shameful. And in our proposal, to take care of theft of public money, I don't even think it's called corruption anymore. In your mother tongue, I don't think we have anything called corruption, but we have theft.
It's just looting.
Looting. So what we have said is, in one of our proposals on why Punguza Mizigo, we have said we shall have anyone who is convicted of theft of public money, anyone convicted of theft of public money should be jailed for life. No presidential pardon, no amnesty. And tied to that, we also said all these cases of theft of public money and corruption must be done within 45 days. 30 days trial and 15 days of appeal, if any, so that we have a conclusive case about all these issues of theft. Because look at Goldenberg. Today we are still talking about Goldenberg. NYS1, KPLC, KPC. These things go round and round and round.
Yes.
And that, if it is put in the highest law in the land, the Constitution of Kenya, then it must be followed to the letter. That way we shall shorten the court cases. We shall also ensure that justice is delivered immediately, not delayed. Yes.
Well, that's very, very, interesting. And how do you make sure that there are no loopholes around this? Because, we have laws against corruption already.
Yes.
We've got laws against, looting of public coffers.
We have even anti-corruption. I mean, we have
ethics
anti-corruption.
We have a lot of commissions
but
dealing with this issue.
Listen.
And guys are like, oh, here's another thing too, ya kuongeza tu hapo.
Levy, I agree with you. There are so many laws that are trying to ensure that we have certain steps taken towards dealing with the theft of public money or the public funds. But the Constitution of Kenya has not given it a clear pathway to deal with the culprits. The reason why we are suffering as a country today is because we have entertained theft. We have seen governors building mansions. We have seen MCAs nowadays, they use choppers as matatus. We have seen guys driving V8s and we know their salaries. We have seen
people going to benchmark about food.
Exactly. We have seen recently,
yes,
members of parliament, committee on services and facilities in parliament, went to New Zealand and they used over 13.6 billion. Listen, Levy, we must now be serious. Those are all arrows that are pointing at a corrupt institution. What we have said is, these laws that are existing, we have got acts of parliament, we have all these, but they are not constitutional, some of them. The only supreme law that will govern the issues that deal with public finance, issues of leadership, is the Constitution. If that is written in the Constitution, then when you take oath of office or affirmation, then you swear by that affirmation that will protect the Constitution of Kenya. And if you violate, then there are consequences. The consequences are jail for life, and that's what we are proposing. Let us be real and use practical ways. In China,
so you want to make it, you want to make it a life imprisonment for corruption?
Life imprisonment for corruption, and no presidential pardon, no amnesty, because the corruption is akin to murder. If you steal money that is meant for hospitals, you steal money that is meant to prepare roads or develop roads to take goods of the poor to the market so they can develop themselves, you steal money meant for boreholes, you are actually killing that nation. And that's why we must make corruption punitive, and we must punish it according to the laws of the land. We have also said other avenues of corruption is the money that we pay, and that money finds itself into politics. And we have said, let's now lower the wage bill. I'll give you an example. The elected leaders earn so much. For example, the President of the Republic of Kenya today is earning close to 2 million. We are asking ourselves as Kenyans, and these things Kenyans have told us, it's not our own people, that's why we call it popular initiative. We have gone to the people, they have told us, you know what, we don't want the President to be paid more money anymore, because he has a free house called State House. He has free security, he has free cars, he has free everything. Even the tea that the President drinks is free. Why do we pay him more money? What time does he have to use his money? We have proposed to cap the salaries of elected leaders at 500,000 maximum, the President. With a member of parliament, maximum 300. That is consolidated pay. Consolidated in the sense that after
it's a sum total of everything, or even
so that
allowances,
we save money. If you look at the money that goes into what is called consolidated fund, that is used to pay the government employees, is 31% of the government of the budget.
It's interesting you should say that. You know why? Because it's in developed countries, they say in order to get rich, you get into the private sector.
Yes. Or business.
Or business.
Yes.
In our country, in order to get rich,
Politics.
you get into siasa.
Yes. That's why we are saying
Because
leadership
and
must
even
be a
when we talk
service.
about rich people, they're usually politicians.
I agree.
You know,
and you know, in our proposal, we have said, if you want to be rich, Levy, go and do business or go and be employed in the corporate, where you can be as rich as you can. But in public service, where the public pay you the salary as a token in service you are trying to endure or give to the people, then you must also now offer that service as voluntary.
This is a service.
Yes.
But then let me ask you, because the argument is always placed forward this way. The politicians say, look, you can pay us. The last time we had the SRC coming up with a, a suggestion that
Yes.
let's cap the salaries. Then
Yes.
I believe they brought it down to around 700 or so,
Yes.
about 630.
Yes.
And then, of course, this new parliament came in and they rubbished what the SRC has done, and now they're getting all manner of allowances.
You know why they did that? They did that because it is not constitutional. If today, in the Constitution of Kenya,
They would not have been able to get
they
away
would
with
not
it.
have been able to go
But their
and you cannot
arguments-
challenge any article.
The argument, Frederick, is
court.
this. They say that the politics in this country has developed over the years in such a way that it has reached a point where, in order for me as a politician to be able to serve my people well, I have to give them money. When I go home for the weekend, actually, if I may quote the MP for Mbita, Millie Mabona,
Yes.
she said, every time she goes home, somebody says, iko funeral, iko nini, nataka school fees ya mtoto, iko shida hapa, iko shida pale. She says, this money is not enough. So they want to be paid good money, more money.
Let me tell you.
Because it spreads back, inarudi kwa mwananchi.
Levy.
How are you going to deal with that aspect?
That
because
is bad manners.
we have expected it for so long.
That is bad manners. Bad manners in the sense that that is a member of parliament who doesn't know his or her role. The members of parliament role is not to give money to the electorate. That is actually an aspect of corruption. You are corrupting your way into leadership, or you are corrupting your subjects. That should not happen. We have said, if you want to serve the people, you should be ready to offer that service voluntarily. It is a contract between you and the people. But the reason why we are paying you because we understand that you also have got some basic needs to meet, and as a token of appreciation. Today, some of the best countries in the world, they don't pay their political leadership a lot of money. Kenya is a young democracy. It is developing. The moment you start paying elected leaders in a bloated parliament such huge sum of money, then you will not have any more money for development. And that's why we
True,
have
but the
said
big question,
we
Frederick, is
must
this.
go back.
Are we going to change that mentality with simply a law in the Constitution?
We are going to
Will that change that
we are
overnight?
The reason why the people at the grassroots ask members of parliament for money is because they have been conditioned to believe that money is everything. And that's why we have proposed, let us now have the ward as a primary unit of development. What Kenyans need today is development. They don't need money. They need to ensure that when they wake up in the morning, the mothers can go to the nearest dispensary and get Medicare. When the children wake up in the morning, they can walk the shortest distance to get education. When they go get their farm produce from the farm, they can put them into the best infrastructure. Within a shorter time, they're in the market and they have money in their pockets. That is now called development, and that is the true test of inclusivity. They don't need tokens. They don't need handouts. If you give handouts, you are not a leader. You are a corrupted individual who is trying to bribe your way into leadership.
So what do you do then
What
about
we need to
issues
do-
like harambes?
Harambes, let me tell you, first
You
of all,
know, because we see, like even right now, a lot of people are talking development, and development is a harambe. Nakuja najenga kanisa, najenga shule.
as politicians, we receive so many of those texts.
Yeah, I know,
Every day
Harambe.
you say, Fred, you know, we have this Harambe. But let me tell you, Harambe was a good spirit putting together then. Today, we have got a government that has realized that there are funds that must be taken. Why do you need an Harambe to build a school while there is money allocated for such development? Why do you need an Harambe to build a road while there is money allocated for that? Why do you need an Harambe to build a dispensary in the ward while there is allocation? Every county in this country receives certain allocation equitably, and that allocation is meant for certain services. In fact, we even have Article 204, Equalization Fund, that has been used now to ensure that other marginalized counties are at par with their colleagues. Listen, we don't need an Harambe. All we need is proper use of the funds that are allocated to the county.
I like
And
what you're
we have
saying,
said-
because it then means that if there's a location and we build a school, then I don't have to glorify you for
No,
coming and giving
you
us
don't. You
that
don't need
money,
to.
and then we
You
say,
don't
you know,
need to.
Frederick has
In
come and
fact,
he's such a good guy, he's so generous, and anatusaidia.
I have seen members
Sana.
I have seen
Eh?
some leaders, Levy, walking all around telling people that if you are not in this team, then you will not see development. That is sabotage. That is sabotage. You know, you don't need to worship a governor. You don't need to worship the president. You don't need to worship any leader to get development. It is your right. It is your constitutional right as a citizen of this country that there are certain services that you must get. In fact, Article 6 says that such resources shall be allocated equitably. And you see, we have money. The government taxes you and me and others to get this money.
Yes.
Today you are paying even some of these things on fuel. You know, where is that money going to? That money should go into development. And that's why we are saying that development must be seen in certain aspects. It must be seen in what you and me consume daily, uses daily, and them. Those are schools, dispensary, hospitals, roads and services. And let me take you, I know time is going, let me just take you further. We have also said, how do we now ensure that this mizigo that we're talking about is lowered? Look at the commissioners. They also draw their salary from the consolidated fund that I told you is 35% of the budget. 35% of that 3 trillion is going to consolidated fund to pay the government. We have said, government workers, we have said, currently, Article 250, the commissioners are should be at least a minimum of 3 and a maximum of 7, or a maximum of 9. But if you look at it, there have been 9 and on a permanent basis. Why do we need commissioners on a permanent job while we have got a secretariat that will do the same thing? The commissioner's job is to lay strategy and policy. That indeed is implemented by the
So is
secretariat.
it somewhere in your
our
proposal, what's
we have
there?
said we should only have a maximum of 5 commissioners who are working on part-time and shall be paid on a need basis as established by SRC. So we don't need them on permanent basis. That is lowering wage. We have also said there is this position of deputy governor. A deputy governor is a waste of public funds if they don't have a specific role. Currently, their role is not defined. We are proposing that.
Actually, we have a governor in Nairobi running without a deputy for so long.
Look at that. It has been so long. What is changing? Nothing.
And it's
we
okay.
are here still recently.
Yes,
So
and
what
it's
we are saying
okay, yes.
it's okay. What we're saying as a party, we have proposed in Punguza Mizigo, one of the burdens that we must punguza is that burden of having a deputy governor that comes with a big office, entourage, security, PA, and the rest. We must lower it. Let the governor be elected, then upon election, and upon constituting his or her executives, then he or she shall appoint from that office a principal assistant. And in an unlikely event that the governor's office become vacant, then we go for a substantive election. Why? We're saying that because look at the confrontation between the deputy governors and the governors today. They are fighting. And that one is interfering in the development because everyone want to be this, want to be this. Some of them are also looking forward to governor leaving office and then they complete
Some of them are flower girls, they have no role. But let me, when we talk about all these things, one question that comes to mind is your proposals and your 16 points.
Yes.
They sound good. Have you therefore involved Mwananchi in coming up with them? Because I was about to ask you, when we talk about wage bill reduction and things like that, many of us think about, for example, parastatals.
Yes.
We have some parastatals doing the same work and there are like 4 of them.
Yes.
You have one, like even if you look at tourism, we've got like 4 different entities doing about the same thing. If you look at the energy sector, we have about 3 or 4 doing about the same thing. We look at water, those kind of things. We have parastatals that are mirroring each other. They all have CEOs, they all have staff, they all have offices, they all have vehicles and fuel and catering and all those kind of things they do, and conferences and whatever else they do. And Mwananchi wants to know, are your proposals just your proposals, or are you allowing voices to chip in and say, by the way, look at this too.
Let me tell you, Levy,
look at this too.
When we launched Punguza Mizigo on April 7th, early this year, we started by only 6 reasons. Today we are speaking of 16 cogent reasons. Where did we get the other 9 or so? We got them from the people of Kenya when we do our county tours. Kenyans have told us that beyond the 7 reasons that they have given us, there is also 1, 2, 3. And they have given us, they don't want deputy governors, the salaries of the electeds must be lowered, the commissioner must be on part-time. They have told us that upon achieving the age of 18 and acquiring a national ID, then you should be deemed fit as a registered voter. They have told us that. You understand? They have told us that punish.
So you don't have to register? It's automatic.
As a proposal, yes, you don't register because there is a registrar of persons. He has got all your details. And by the way, we are transitioning into the new generation ID with security features. Why do we need to have so many identification? Why? And you're registered. In developed countries, you have one documentation.
Your ID is your voter's card.
Exactly.
Very simple.
So why do IBC waste a lot of money with what they call continuous voter registration, CVR? Every they launched the other day in Makweni. Every now and then. That means that is a burden that is put on the taxpayer. We must lower it. We are saying that mzigo must be punguzwad. Those are the issues that Kenyans are telling us. And they have told us more. And that's why today we are on sick. And we have told Kenyans also, we don't mind anyone out there who thinks that there is any reason that will be in line with the Punguza Mizigo, we welcome it. So as long as it fits in the context of lowering the burden. There are certain issues that you have raised about parastatals, but those are issues that are administrative. They're not constitutional. Because when you have a government that is lean, you have a government that has got proper structures, then in formation of even the ministry, the president will now realize if we are going to lower the cost of implementing those, then even his ministers must be fewer, the parastatal must be fewer. So those are just administrative that will be dealt with in details in the bill. So it is not an issue.
Because, you know, people look at things and they say, the government complains about how much money they spend.
Yes.
But just the other day, the report came out, 31 billion is being spent on traveling.
Alone.
Traveling
alone.
People going abroad and stuff like that. We have CASs.
Yes.
Who we never had before, but we have created to make people feel okay about losing
Forget about the
elections
CAS. We have got regional commissioner and county commissioners.
And county commissioner.
And constitutional, by the way. Because you see, when
who are in fights with the governor all the time.
2 centers of power. In our advisory note to the president, we are the only party that gave the president an advisory note on austerity measures. One of the austerity measures, we told Mr. President, what you have to do now, do away with chief administrative secretaries. Do away with these so many foreign missions. Do away with regional commissioners so that we save money. We are at a debt, I mean, we are at a crunch time. We must now put our court according to our size. That's the only way we can survive. We are debt trapped. And you see, we have proposed all those things. And with a lean government, it is doable. And that's why we are saying Punguza Mizigo is not only an issue with financial, but it's also an issue with the daily burden that the common man carries in executing his or her job.
Okay, we have about 5 minutes, but you know, one of the worries that the Mwananchi has, and we talk about this every time we travel everywhere.
Yes.
And recently, I was on the SGR.
Yes, yes.
And we were discussing with some members of the public about the debts that we owe to China.
Yes.
And the president was put to task by an international journalist the other day about that debt.
Yes.
And he said, you know, China is just one of the other partners yet. At the moment, 55% of our debt is owed to the Chinese. And the worry for most Kenyans is the debt is growing. We don't know whether it will be able to service not just the debt to China, but also to Japan, to the UK,
other lenders.
The US also are trying to build a road from Mombasa, whatever. The question is there a way we can constitutionalize the process of acquiring debt?
Levy, that is already there. Article
that
211.
We can,
211. The parliament
that we can say,
be able to ensure that there's a ceiling to a certain extent of how we are borrowing as a country. But it has not been implemented. It's there. And it is not even about constitution. It's about leadership. Any good leadership should be able to see that we are now on the red line. Let us now take a break and ensure that whatever we have, we use it in a prudent manner. One of the ways of doing that, we must do away with what we don't need. I have seen this initiative called Building Bridges Initiative that is already unconstitutional.
Yeah.
We don't need such task forces.
And they have an office in Runda.
They don't have an office. They
have just found one in Runda.
They cannot even do anything. But
and they're looking for budget and they want to go around the country.
They were not even part of the budget. They are not in the budget line. these are burdens that Kenyans must lower going forward. And we have said, listen, the constitution currently as it is, it says that at least 15% of the national budget shall be given to the counties. We have proposed as in Punguza Mizigo, why don't we now have at least 35%? Because we have put measures in place to ensure that we deal with theft of public money, corruption issues. So when we do that, then these issues that are at the devolved units can be done squarely. We shall now start seeing real development. We have tested devolution. We have seen, for the first time, we have seen streetlights in areas like Garissa, Mandera. You have seen them. We have seen tarmac roads. We have seen buildings coming up, entrepreneurs, investors coming in because of devolution. If we can only increase that allocation slightly from at least 15% to at least 35%, then we now start realizing real development. And that is the only way that Kenyans will start appreciating that we are truly a devolved county or a devolved government. That is the only way. But the most important thing with the debt, because you raised it, is if we are borrowing as a country, then the effect of the money that we have borrowed must be felt by the lowest man in a devolved unit called the ward. My grandmother down there should feel it. How will she feel it? If she's seeing certain issues that she was struggling with before now
being
coming
addressed,
up and
yes.
being addressed.
Yeah.
Issue with water, schools, hospitals. That is the only way. But if that money is borrowed and it ends up in a few pockets, then I think it is borrowed for the wrong reason.
Good point. Let me ask you as we close.
Good.
So what is the reaction of Kenyans to this
Punguza
particular
Mzigo.
initiative, to Punguza Mzigo?
Levy,
What are people saying
we
out
are
there?
overwhelmed. In the 13 counties we have gone, Kenyans say, we want this referendum like yesterday. This is what we have been waiting for. And we are very happy, and we would want to thank Kenyans. Even as we speak now, there are agents. We have got agents all over. In the 47 counties, we have got Punguza Mizigo agents. They are collecting signatures, doing door-to-door. You can also endorse this initiative online. When you log into thirdwayalliance.com, you'll get Punguza Mizigo. When you click the Punguza Mizigo, you'll put your details. By the way, we met IBC. We have met them twice. It is IBC that approved the online signature collection. They gave us the data on constituencies, the number of them, the wards and the counties. And that information is accurate as you see it. When you log in, you can actually sign. You can actually sign. And if you allow me, Levi, I don't know which one is my camera, just to zoom.
This one.
Punguza Mizigo. If you go to this website, you can fill in your details. Of course, you'll have the 16 reasons why Punguza Mizigo. You go down there. You fill in the election details, the ID, the first name, second name, gender, and so on and so forth. Then you can actually sign and accept, then you endorse. So it is as easy as that. But we have said also, because it is a public initiative, it is a popular initiative, we must go to the people and explain to them these 16 reasons. And that's the only way that we have also managed to get feedback and also get other reasons that we didn't have. That's how we developed from 7 to 0.16.
So that's why you're going around.
Exactly. We are going around. Next week we'll be in Eastern. The other week we'll be in Mombasa, coastal region, and we are moving. We are coming to your wood. We will be there. We're saying the word is Punguza Mizigo. We are at 620,000 plus today. And we can assure Kenyans that by next year, we shall be crossing on the 1 million mark as a constitutional requirement.
Right. Thank you, Frederick. We really appreciate you coming out here and laying it all out. We'll be following what you're doing, as well as talking some more about this initiative, because, you know, the conversation must go on. And we must engage Kenyans because, you know, oh, by the way, let me ask you, is the only way in through a referendum? Tell us quickly before we close.
Article 257, this is a popular initiative. It must go through the people. And you see also Article 1 says the sovereign power belongs to the people. What we are saying is, in the event that Parliament fails to pass this bill, it will go to a referendum. But we'd want to ask parliamentarians who are listening to us and watching us and have been following us, save Kenyans billions.
Tell them they're watching.
Dear parliamentarians, save Kenyans billions. Don't allow us to go to the referendum, because once we collect the 1 million signatures, and for sure, the county assemblies will approve. They'll submit it to the 2 speakers of the National Assembly and the Senate, and it will be you to approve it. Pass this bill without any delay, so that we don't go into a referendum. But if you delay, then we shall go to the referendum and it will be also costly to this country.
And that's another mzigo.
That's another mizigo. So we have to punguza this mizigo by ending at your desk. But we have said the popular initiative allows the Kenyan people to decide. So you can as well save Kenyans by passing the bill, taking to the president to assent, and we have a new constitution. Or if you feel that you don't like it, and the members of a county assembly shall have passed it because it is what is good for the people, then we shall go to a referendum and Kenyans will have a new constitution that is lowering the burden, and that muzigo shall have been punguzwa.
I hear you. Thank you, Frederick.
Thank you.
We keep talking.
Thanks.
Always.
Napunguza mizigo.
Punguza mzigo. Say hi to the chairman when you get to him.
I will.
Thank you so much. That's the Spotlight tonight. We keep talking about these issues and many, many more. My name is Levi Kones. Good night. God bless you. Take care of yourselves and each other. See you next Monday.